Alright, good evening folks. So this is going to be the complete video on how I put together my regular chassis of the Slash two-wheel drive to a low center of gravity chassis DIY. Bear with me, this video when it was edited came out a little unedited, and I already did the bad thing and I got rid of the old footage, so I can't redo it. So when it freezes, I'll skip ahead and stuff and explain what you missed. But here we go. So this is the whole rear assembly. This is the part of the frame that I just cut off. And then there's the plate that's left over. You keep that. Set that off to the side. Let's see. The next is going to be the whole front assembly. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to just cut this piece off that's upside down. There I go. I put it correct. But yeah, so notice how the front has that angle. So you cut that off, and then those two posts are what holds the whole steering assembly. Right here I'm showing you what I cut off to mount it to the front, and I'll show you that in a moment. Again, I'm just showing that's where the steering assembly goes. Nothing fancy. So here's the stock chassis, and then there's the front. That's all the grinding I did with the Dremel. So that first like inch or so is ground off, then it's a notch up, and then it's ground down even more. You could notch that down to put where the steering linkage is going to go. And then there's the rear end where you hook up the rear assembly to the chassis. Then there's a servo. It's about a half an inch higher mounted than it usually is, and then that's just showing how deep it's going out of the bottom of the chassis, which is not that bad. Let's see, there's the rear mounts. There's that part I cut off. I just drilled 2 holes to mount it. I might drill 2 more somewhere and hook something else up, because only 2 screws is kind of, I don't know. To hold the whole rear assembly onto the whole vehicle is a little nerve-wracking. But for now it works. It's actually pretty darn stiff considering. There it is. It's all on there. And then right here I plan on making some kind of metal bracket to hook those two together to make them stronger, but yeah, we'll see. Again, we're back to the front. Those are the 2 screws that now holds the front to the front assembly. And then right here, that top is where it's normally mounted at the angle. But there's 2 existing holes underneath that are perfect fits for the actual chassis. And it just so happens to work perfect. So, I'm just keep showing you the same holes over and over. And then right here I'm just showing you that it matches up. The only issue, oh yeah, I'm just showing you that's where I got it. That's where you have to cut, excuse me. The only issue that I've seen so far is that, at least with my Slash body, when you mount it like this, it does extend the wheelbase just over 1/8 of an inch. About 1/8 of an inch. Nothing crazy, but you could definitely tell. Oh yeah, this is where it freezes. You could definitely tell that in the wheel wells of the Traxxas Slash body, the wheels have been brought further apart slightly. Not horribly, but just enough. So I might try and remount different holes, but I'm not worried about it right now, especially since that's not the body I'm going to be running on it. I still have to get the new body at some point. But I think the frozen part's going to be over soon. Here we go. So, alright, a little bit of context here. So this is that plate that I showed you. I cut off this, and I cut off this, and then I cut the angle here. So what I did was I just drilled 2 holes here and here, and then in the chassis underneath there and there, and then I just put 2 screws. That's it, and it holds it. I have no problems. And then I took the screws out of those 2 posts, and now I'm putting the steering linkage back in. There it is, all fancy like. And with the position of the screws I put that hold down that plate, it doesn't touch any of the steering linkage, thank God. So we're good there. So that's on. And then I think it freezes again for hooking up the actual axles to the steering linkage. But right here, I'm showing you that I put a bolt as a spacer. So because of the angle of the actual linkage to the servo, it was too high. So I had to put a spacer in there so it would fit. And yeah, it froze here. But the only thing you missed was hooking up one of the steering's linkages, I think. Come on. Yeah, see, and then here's the other side. This is the passenger side steering linkage. There it goes, it's on, and there's the steering. In fact, actually, with doing this, that steering linkage and all that is actually at a better angle for the front suspension than what it was. Alright, here's the rear of the vehicle again. This is me putting on the rear assembly. The motor, the shocks, all that stuff. And it just takes 6 screws. The 4 big ones in the middle, and then the 2 smaller ones in the back. The magic of making videos. Alright, there they all are. It's there, and it's tough. It's tight, man. I like it. And there it is, and then I think I filmed me putting on the front tires for some reason. But, you know, if you want to get the whole experience, there it is. Oh yeah, and there's the magnet trays from Harbor Freight, $2 I think. Greatest investment ever. Don't lose stuff anymore. Unless you forget to grab the tray, then, you know. Putting the front tires on. So the only thing really I've left for height-wise is fixing the suspension, the actual shocks. But I'm still waiting for my shock pliers. And then there is the old frame pieces that I'll probably use for something else. I'm really good at using old stuff. So this is just showing you how much lower it is. It went down significantly, at least 1.5 inches, and the height to the frame now from the ground is about 1.5 inches or so, maybe even less now. But there's the front assembly and the whole rear assembly, and it's all stock. And then there is the plate of where the they used to sit.